crowds all convening under the cross, and back with the first studio album in 8 years out this Friday, officially re-entering the world next Friday with the Right Now take on their signature sound. With so many injustices in the world, it's good to know justice is still around. And more than just around, they are here to chat with us and share some special records that have an impact on them over the years. Justice, comment allez-vous?
Très bien, et toi, Novina?
Bien.
Ouais. Only good?
That's as much French as I know.
Okay.
It is so great to have you here. I have to start off by saying that I heard that you had one of the best sets at Coachella, if not the best. How did it feel for you?
Really? Is that the word on the street?
It is the word on the street. Yeah, no, truly.
Cool.
And we had our very own Dre Dominic, who is a KCRW in the music department here, and she went out to see it, and she was raving, and she said not only was it the best, but it was just so seamless the way that you guys put everything together and kind of revisited music over your career and brought in the new music, and so...
I mean, if it was seamless, that's really the best compliment we can have. Because like from the stage and also like from the front of house for all of our team, it was of course like very chaotic, because you spend like months like planning something, and of course on the night it happens, like nothing happens accordingly. So we were a bit like stressed and really trying to focus not to mess up things too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was good, I guess, and we hope next weekend will be a bit more relaxed.
Yeah, now that you've done
start
it.
to really enjoy the moment a bit more.
Yeah, when you're in it like that and you say you're stressed and there's chaos, are you able to like enjoy it at all, or is it more like?
It will come. The day will come where we'll be relaxed on stage. Yeah.
The day will come.
Yeah.
Eventually, one day. Even though it's been 20 years of making music together.
Yeah, but that's the stem, like the stage fright.
Yeah.
Is like we will never get used to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something that you do in advance to help get you prepared for that feeling?
We used to drink a lot, but now we don't anymore. So
yeah, that's good. That's probably better.
We're confronted with a good old stage fright, but it's gonna go better. Yeah.
Well, we're so excited that you're here sharing. I mean, we've been listening to your music from your new album, which is just banging, and we're really looking forward to hearing the whole thing, and we'll get into that more. But we're also so curious to know about the music that has inspired you over the years. We know that you are record diggers and share songs together that you both love, and maybe individually. So here you are today to share some of those songs and sort of become like a radio host. We're kind of co-hosting this morning together. Does that sound cool?
Yeah,
sounds great.
Cool.
I love it. So let's get into some of the records that you brought to share. And you brought a lot. It's always funny, you know, we invite folks and we're like, okay, just, you know, tell us a few songs. And you had a good stack of songs. So we got to get into them. And which songs should we start with?
We're going to start by Video Kill the Radio Star by the Buggles. I mean, there's like so many things that influenced us. And most of them are things that we listened to when we were like between maybe 7 and 11 years old, which is really like the core of music. But today we're focusing on the music that we found out when we started working together in the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
And most of these records are records that we bought like in $1 stores. Like when we met, we were students, so we were very tight and on a budget.
Mm-hmm.
And we used to hang a lot in these like second-hand record stores. And most of the records are like records that we found out together and that were okay, cool. And the Buggles is a good example because it's a duo. It's a 2-people band. And it's like, I think it's one of the first bands that really started using the studio, not as a mean, but as an instrument. Like 2 guys in a studio thinking, okay, what are the possibilities offered by the studio and what can we do with it? And this is a huge hit, but at the same time, it sounds very homemade. And like the homemade kind of thing is very important to us who are still a home studio band.
Yeah.
So yeah, there we go.
A lot of parallels with, I guess, how you create music together as well, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right, let's get into the first track as selected today by Justice. Video Killed the Radio Star on Morning Becomes Eclectic.
was young, it didn't stop you coming through. They took the credit for your second symphony, rewritten by machine on new technology. And now I understand the problems you could see. I met your children. What did you tell them?
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
Pictures came and broke your heart. And now we meet in an abandoned studio. We hear the playback and it seems so long ago. And you remember the jingles used to go. You were the first one. You were the last one.
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
In my mind and in my car, we can't rewind, we've gone too far.
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
In my mind and in my car, we can't rewind, we've gone too far. Pictures came and broke your heart. Put the blame on
Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star. Video killed the radio star.
Ah, yes, 1979, Video Killed the Radio Star, as the debut video on MTV, like we were talking about, right?
Yes,
Exactly. And,
very
and,
first one.
and if you watch the video, you can see Hans Zimmer playing the keyboards.
Wow, I did not know that. We're here with Justice, who are sharing some of the records that have impacted them over their lives here on Morning Becomes Eclectic. That one from 1979, Video Killed the Radio Star. And I'm curious, you said that you kind of discovered this song together. And in here, we were kind of shimmying just a little bit. But like when you were kids, what were you doing while you're listening to this song that we're hearing right now? Were you dancing?
No, we're not like big in the dancing department.
Okay.
So I don't know, like
No, but yeah, we just enjoyed like the kind of half electronic, half classical music. You know, like that's a very catchy song, a great bass line.
Yeah.
It's a good resume of what we, summary of what we love in music.
When you hear a combo like that young, does it kind of open your mind as to the possibilities of like putting different sounds together as well, as you would go to do in your own music?
this and also like making very intentional choices. Like for example, like the singer Trevor Horn, he sings the whole song through like he has an effect on his voice that sounds like he's on the telephone,
Yeah.
on the radio. Like this type of things, like there's like a lot of attention put to like every detail, every sound, and you have like the chorus sung by girls, because the guy was probably thinking, okay, like my voice is not gonna be good enough for me to sing the chorus.
Yeah.
So let's have like a choir of girls doing it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that make this song like a hit, and that's not a hit by accident. It was like tailored
Yeah.
to be a huge track.
I like that you mentioned the girls singing at the top because it brings me back to when I first discovered your music, your album Cross. And I honestly cannot remember the first time that I've heard many songs, but I do remember hearing The Party,
Okay.
The Party, and like the girl, like the kind of girlish voice singing like, right?
Now it's true that Uffy has a similar kind of vibe. Yeah.
Yeah, Uffy does, exactly. And I remember hearing that, and maybe similarly to how you felt when you heard this song, my mind was blown. I'm like, what is happening with like the effects that were on the vocals and in the way that the like beat comes in and the whole thing. And so it's cool hearing you talk about the songs that influence you, because then as fans of your music, we can kind of hear like that in your music that draws us to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, but maybe like our biggest influence with the Buggles is that it's a pair of nerds, and they're dressed up like nerds.
Oh.
Exactly like we are, like huge and thick glasses.
Yeah, it influenced like our choice of glasses.
Nerds definitely is not what I think when I look at you. Definitely today you have like a cool kind of 70s look. I'm loving the pearls on the leather. We'll have a photo to post for you listening right now at some point. Let's continue with the song selection. This next one, tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's a Visage Blocks on Blocks.
Mm-hmm.
Like the album cover, it's like we have very mixed feeling about it, and that's probably why we're like so attracted to it, because it looks part awful, like really it's a terrible like a drawing,
Yeah.
and at the same time it's so terrible that it becomes a bit strange and attractive. It's like it's always like we always feel attracted to things that are slightly off.
You said at the same
Or
time.
a bit strange, or a bit like underachieved in some ways.
Mm-hmm.
And so we bought this record, and so on the cover there's a couple, and they look a bit like specters or like a ghost dancing together in a kind of like how would you describe the time? It's very romantic.
Yeah, it's very like new romantic kind of British new wave.
Is it a bit eerie at the same time? I'm not
Exactly,
familiar with it.
very eerie.
Mm.
And so we were listening to this record a lot, and one thing that was amazing on that record is that the song just before Blocks on Blocks, that's the one we're gonna listen to.
Yep.
It's a kind of like build up of like synthesizers, and it transitions perfectly to that song, and it makes that song even better. Like the real way of listening to that song is to listen to the song that is just before and then this one. The same way a bit we go from Happy Dream to Saturnine
Yeah.
on our album.
Oh, okay.
There's a direct connection between like this track and the way we blend the tracks on our albums. Yeah.
Now I'm looking forward to hearing that transition too, because we haven't heard it yet.
Yeah.
Saturnine also, we'll talk about that in a bit. Well, let's get into this one first. Visage Blocks on Blocks, as selected today by Justice, who are here with us on Morning Becomes Eclectic, taking it back to 1980.
Reflections of the river passing by. Reflections of the blasted trees, skies the black, casting shadows on the bridges to the close to walking to the light before my eyes, dreaming to realize. Stop, you go too far this time. You're toying with reality.
what is happening? Is it mixing into the next song?
Oh, I didn't
Probably.
Yeah.
All right. That was amazing. Visage, Blocks on Blocks from 1980 as selected today by our guests, Justice. Wow, that one is definitely going to have to go in the record bag for a future occasion. And I love the way at the end, it's now I have to go listen to the whole album to hear what comes afterwards. You were mentioning earlier how much you love the album cover, and we were talking about it a bit, and it makes me think about your album covers, which it's like I said earlier, it's cool getting to know you more through your loves and like seeing how it reflects into what you do in not direct ways, but just kind of like in a way where it's like in the ethers now. And the Visage artwork, very, very cool. They have this continuous graphics that they use, and with you, every album cover has the cross on it, but each time it's a little bit different. It's still Justice, but it's like somehow reflecting the music that is in the album, where you're at in your lives. And I would say that the latest album cover is maybe the most eerie of them all. And I've heard that it's an actual 4D scan of your body. Is that right? No, I'm just kidding.
You put me off guard.
You're like, what are you saying, Novina? No, but there is a sort of a skeleton inside of the cross on the album, right?
Yeah, like we were thinking of like those what's the word, anatomical bodies that you have when you are in high school in the like science class
Yeah.
room, you know, where you have the body that's transparent and you can see the organs, and we were always fascinated like by the inners of a body or of an animal, you know what I mean? Like going to the butcher shop is like always a treat.
Oh, okay.
And for us it was a good way of presenting our music, not only for this record, but maybe like all the music we've done so far. That is always this blend of the dirty and the clean, the human-made and the digital perfection.
Yeah.
Something that's both repulsive and a bit attractive at the same time. You know, like you really don't want to put your hands in it, but at the same time you're a bit curious to see what it would do if you were actually putting your hands into that sort of like a skeleton of falls thing. So yeah, it was really for us like the simplest way of presenting the music.
And the music video for One Night, All Night kind of continues on that theme where it goes from being more of an organic anatomical structure into a machine and like moving back and forth. It's really fantastic
it's
to
like
watch.
the inner adventure, you know, like where you're this kind of tiny spaceship entering a body and traveling through it. And to us, it was a good way to reveal the artwork.
Does that idea, that concept, have anything to do with your musical approach to the album itself being different?
No, because we do both of them at the same time a bit, and the graphic designer who did the album artwork is a long time collaborator and friend, so he knows as well that if we don't start working on the artwork like 3 years prior to the release, it's never gonna get done on time.
Yeah.
So as early as we told him we're going back to the studio to make another record, he was like, okay, let's make the album cover right now because we'll never get done. And we're developing both at the same time, but really like this album artwork, it for us it's a perfect match for this album, but it also kind of sums up like all the music we've put out before.
Did you, when you were younger, have an opportunity to dissect animals when you were in school?
Yes, like we used to do that on frogs, of course.
Yeah.
And then you send like electrical shocks into a dead frog, and it keeps on moving. But I'm not too fond of that.
Oh yeah. I did it with squids.
Yeah.
And with a squid, you know, and then
yeah.
there's like an ink sac, and then you take a part of the squid and you can dip it in the ink sac and then write with it.
Wow.
That was in when I was like 12 years old. I thought that was
Sounds
pretty
like
cool.
fun.
Yeah, that's next level. Because there's no science purpose into that. It's just for fun, right? That's pure cruelty.
Jeffrey Dahmer fun.
Well, they were dead already. We eat squid, we eat frogs, you know.
Yeah, of course. But
not like they're alive.
We don't write their name with their own ink and their own tentacle, right?
I gave it a name right then and there. All right, let's continue with the songs that you've selected for us today. We're here with Justice on Morning Becomes Eclectic, having fun, talking about weird stuff. And the next track, tell us a little bit about it and how you came to find it.
So yeah, Highways of the Sun by Camel. It's like this band is like a blend between like a prog rock and a yacht rock. And for those who are not familiar with us, who are very big on yacht rock,
Yeah.
like I think like yacht rock and like glam rock are the two types of music that we listen to the most at home, you know. And in yacht rock, there's some sort of like a perfection of writing, production. That is very fascinating and also very touching. Like even if you don't know about like the technicity of it, it's a very touching music. And that song, it's very melancholic. It makes us very it makes me very sad when I listen to it. Then if you look at the album cover, that's awful too. It's like a drawing of a kid like watching through a window and it's raining and you have this sort of like ghost dancer, like ballerina dancing. Like it's all very, what's the word, depressing a bit.
Yeah.
And the song works perfectly with that. It was like one of the main, oh sorry.
No, but to me it's kind of a joyful like a Californian ride song. It's not too depressing to me.
No, but yeah, that's it. It's a good blend between. It's like there's something a bit euphoric, but like very melancholic at the same time. Well, let's listen to it, and you will see.
You can decide for yourself. Camel, Highways of the Sun, as selected by Justice, who are our guests on Morning Becomes Eclectic. There it is. Live radio.
We are sailing in a ship that's got no sails. We are riding on a train
And we are back here on Morning Becomes Eclectic with music selected by Justice, who are our guest today, sharing songs that have impacted them along their journey and maybe inspired some of what they do. Right now we're listening to Camel with Highways of the Sun, which I think it's giving me a joyous feeling, not too much of a melancholic one, but I feel like it could depend on where you're at in life, and then you hear the song or how your day is going, and then it could impact it that way.
But that's the beauty of music, is that
Exactly.
everyone perceives it in a different way.
Yeah.
And very early, being Justice, we kind of let go of that thing. We make something, thinking of it in a certain way, but from the moment it's out, it belongs to the people who listen to it, and we made peace with the fact that there's a huge gap between what we think we're making
Yeah.
and what people who listen to our records think that we're making.
Yeah.
And that's cool, actually. That's great this way.
Do you find that happens, like you make a track and then you play it live and the reaction to it is different than what you expected?
That's a bit different because when we play live, our intention is very different from the records. When we play live, we really want a live show to be a party. It's a big party.
Yeah.
And there's that's almost there's almost only one dimension to it. And on albums, there's much more layers to things. So in live, there's only two things: that either people are enjoying it or not, and that's about it. So of course, sometimes while playing a track, and there's a lack of response, and then that pushes us to think a bit different about what we're doing. It's never the fault of people when they're not liking your show. it's on you completely.
Could you accomplish a Justice Unplugged show?
We practiced a couple of times for radio shows or whatever
With live instruments?
yeah, but our music is so not made for this. There's a couple of songs that work, and we always love to see on YouTube sometimes a cover, someone
Right.
covering a track with a piano.
Indeed, Did just dance, just dance, with guitar.
but for most of it works better with the precision
Yeah.
of a computer and a huge sound, of course.
And we love to party with Justice, which we're going to keep doing here in just a moment. We're going to hear some electronic acts that they brought to share with us. Make sure you stay close to Morning Becomes Eclectic.
Support comes from Pacific Neuroscience Institute Foundation. Hearing loss has profound effects, including isolation, depression, and accelerated cognitive decline. For those whose hearing loss cannot be remedied with hearing aids, cochlear implants may be the solution. At Pacific Neuroscience Institute, patients experience advanced, compassionate care with minimally invasive, highly effective treatments focused on quality of life. Learn more about cochlear implant surgery for hearing loss at pacificneuro.org.
All right, let's keep the party going. Justice, our guests here on Morning Becomes Eclectic, sharing songs that they dig. Let's get into this one. What's next for us on the list today?
So we're gonna listen to an absolute classic that's called Intro by Alan Braxe and Fred Falk. If I'm not mistaken, it's from the year 2000.
You're not
And-
mistaken.
Okay, cool. and we were never big on electronic music in general, or on dance music in general, because there are some electronic stuff that we loved. But this one, I remember that when we heard it, it really changed our stance on what electronic music can do, because this one has everything for it. It's very danceable, but at the same time it's very elegant, it's very powerful while being laid back, and there's one of the best bass line of all time.
Ooh, okay.
It's very simple. There's only two elements apart from the drums. It's just there's drums, there's this vocal sample, and then you have the bass line coming in that completely flips the track. And yeah, it's a masterpiece of writing, production, simplicity.
Yeah, it's the perfect loop that you can listen to forever. It's something we tried to achieve on the record, on the Hyperdrama, to find the perfect loop and to to find also that kind of switch in the harmony at some point, and it's something that Alan Brax is super good at, and it has this melancholic quality that we love as well.
It's very difficult to make dance music that works on the dance floor and that's not unidimensional, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And for us, this track is a staple of what a good dance track should be, because there's so much like emotion, and mostly it's for us it's very very elegant. Yeah.
Let's get into this elegance, emotion, simplicity, and the best bass line ever. Alan Brax, Fred Falke, is that how you say it?
Folk or Falk. Yeah.
Falk. Fred Falk with the song Intro from 2000 as selected by Justice on Morning Becomes Eclectic. Oh yes, that bass does feel very good, doesn't it?
See, we told you the truth, right?
Justice would never lie to me. Alan Brax and Fred Falk with Intro from 2000. We're listening to tracks selected by Justice this morning. They're sharing about the impact that these tracks have had on their sonic journey. And I think we should continue because we have a lot of them to get into. And the next one on the list for today is what?
It's a tunnel music by Zongamin.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they used to be on Excel in London. It's a Japanese British band, and really like the it's made basically by one guy that's called Susumu Mukai, and the guy is a genius. We've seen them play live in maybe 2006 in Paris, and to this day it's the best live show I've ever seen. Yeah, it was crazy. The guy is a genius bass player, and I remember like the first time we heard that song, we didn't know if it was from the 70s, from now, or from the future. And there's a quality in Zongamin that really influenced us also at the beginning. It sounds like very lo-fi or low-tech, would I say. And that was the same period as the White Stripes, that were also like a very big influence on us, in the way that these are bands, like most bands that we love, they always, if there's a choice between the techniques or the style, they will always take the style.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean style over substance, but it's style over
Technicality.
technical, like kind of constraints, and that's always the best. It sounds like a punk disco band, Zongamin, and but we should listen to it. And
Yeah, it makes me think of when you listen to those old recordings where they didn't have enough money to do it over and over again, so then you hear the accidents, and that's kind of the beauty in the track too sometimes.
Yeah, definitely.
Actually, I think they were influenced a lot by ESG,
Oh, I love ESG.
but they were a bit tighter. But this is what we love about ESG. It's one of the other best shows we ever attended. Like ESG at the top of the Pompidou Center.
Yeah, and
They were
sometimes
so good.
like even with ESG, the beat kind of falls off a little bit,
Yeah,
but in
yeah.
a pleasing way.
Exactly.
Like
Yeah.
in the White Stripes, like they are genius drummers because they manage like to make it like a bit like moving and
A
everything.
little sloppy,
Yeah,
but
but
tight at the same
perfect
time.
at the same time.
Yeah, all right,
Yeah.
let's get into this one. Zungamin with Tunnel Music as selected by Justice this morning on Morning Becomes Eclectic. Tunnel Music from Zongamin as selected by Justice, who are hanging out with us today. I gotta say, I think this is the funkiest one yet that you've picked so far. It's given me the stank face.
Yeah, and it's not gonna get any funkier than this.
It's not.
Now we're going back into more like a straight music.
Okay, that's
unfortunately.
fine. Well, but I know you have, each one of these tracks so far has had something special to it, and so funky is not the one-all be-all. It's just one place we can go, you know what I mean? So I don't mind. I'm ready for what's next on the journey from Justice this morning. And you were mentioning earlier something about lo-fi, which I thought was interesting, and I was wondering, we've been enjoying the track Saturnine from your forthcoming album Hyperdrama, and I feel like there's almost like a lo-fi thing happening with like Miguel's vocals, or I don't know if that's what you would call it, but it has this kind of tell me what the approach was with how that was recorded, because it definitely has a different sound to it.
Yeah, like Miguel is an amazing performer. I mean, he's an amazing musician, writer, and everything. But as soon as we recorded this track in Los Angeles, and as soon as he got in the booth and started like singing the parts, and when you record it, it's like all dry. It's like one mono single take. We heard it and we were like, wow, okay, like we need to keep it like this because also he sounds very sexy to us.
Yeah, like he's
when
right there in
like,
your ear.
Yeah, when he's very like in the front, almost like almost getting too close a bit,
Like breathing down your neck.
and we loved it. And actually, like when we first encountered his music, this is one of the quality that we loved about him. Is I'm trying to find the right words, but like he's very like dry, sexy, and he takes a lot of space, you know.
Yeah.
And we love that. So we thought it was a good fit with the track. So we told him, okay, you sound too good. We're gonna keep you like this. And we went back home with one mono take. And that was perfect, so we didn't have like to comp his vocals or whatever.
Oh wow, okay.
And we just had like to work on the track, and we worked more on the track afterwards than on his vocals, so to make the track work around his like voice. And sometimes it's good like to try to keep it like simple, dry, and it's always the most difficult to do.
I mean, that's sort of, it's really out of the box because you just kind of briefly mentioned it, which a lot of people wouldn't know. When vocals are recorded in the studio, usually they layer them the same thing multiple times.
Yes.
So it sounds like it's one person singing, but like really big over the left and the right side. But you chose to only have one layer of his vocals to achieve this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So his vocals is like a mono, it's in the center. And that was good because like even people working with us on the record, I'm thinking about the mastering engineer, for example. When we sent him to the track for the mastering, he thought there was a problem on the track. I was like, isn't it a problem on the vocals? Are you sure you want it to be this way? And we're like, if we send it to you, it means it has to be like this.
We've done this before.
And he was like, okay, but still I'm gonna try to make it sound more American. What he calls American is like big, like a radio sound or whatever, R&B. And we told him, okay, whatever you want, but don't waste too much of your time because we know we want it that way. And after like 3 days, he was like, I tried everything. But now that I get used to it, I think you made the right choice, and it's cool. And it's cool that it sounds a bit unsettling and different at the beginning. But once you get around the idea, it kind of sounds cool.
I totally agree. At first when I heard it, I was like, oh, is this like mixed or like what's happening? And then when I heard it again, I was like, I love this. This is perfect, exactly as it is. So I'm really happy that you that you continued with that. You didn't let Miguel talk you out of it. We're going to continue here with Justice, who are hanging out with us, selecting music, and in between Coachella performances. Make sure you stay close right here to Morning Becomes Eclectic.
Writer Salman Rushdie is out with a new memoir. It recounts the attack that nearly killed him in 2022.
The book is called Knife, not only because it's about a knife, but because it is a knife. You know, I got myself into a knife fight somehow. I had to have a knife of my own.
I'm Mary Louise Kelly. My conversation with Rushdie on All Things Considered from NPR News.
The news with me, Steve Chiotakis, this afternoon, starting at 3 on 89.9 KCRW and the KCRW app.
Here on Morning Becomes Eclectic, deciding what music will play for you, and there's just so much good stuff to get to. And we're here with Justice, who are selecting music. We're changing the set list as we speak. So what are we going to play next, guys?
So we're going to play Utopia by Jackson and his computer band. It was really a very important record for us because like he's a bit like the forgotten hero of the 2000s. Like, I mean, he's definitely like the best French producer we knew at the time. Like he was signed on Warp Records, so he's really into like this kind of broken electronic. But also he has a great musical talent, like for harmonies and it's very, very, very impressive.
It's like this guy with this album and this record, he really like changed like the whole scene. And what people like called French touch, like 2.0, you know, like the new wave, was like single-handedly invented by this guy. And it doesn't get enough credit for this because everyone in France, after they heard this record, they changed the way they were making music. It's a laptop album, and I think it was one of the first records that we heard completely made on a laptop. It's only digital. And this track, I bet you, it could be out tomorrow, and people would still think it sounds from the future, and it's a crazy, crazy record.
Well, in some ways, for some people, it is out today, right in this moment, hearing it for the first time, as selected by Justice Jackson and his computer band Utopia on Morning Becomes Eclectic. You're listening to Morning Becomes Eclectic. Justice are here selecting songs for us this morning in between their sets at Coachella and having so much fun that we've actually gone over time. We have even more we want to share with you, but they are busy folks and there's so much to talk about, and I'm sure fans are like, oh, this is so cool knowing the insides about your inspiration. And the album is coming up. How are you feeling about it? Do you feel excited to put it out in the world? Hyper Drama is out next Friday.
Yes, of course we are very excited, and at the same time we almost feel like it's been out already for like 4 months. We're in a weird like vortex right now. Yeah. And but we're excited. Let's hope some people will connect.
And then
with
you'll
it.
be performing the album live as well, right?
Yeah, and the album, but not only like Justice Live is really more like Justice greatest hits
Okay.
than really like we're not trying like to force feed our new album in the live show. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, now we have enough tracks on our catalog so that we can make it fun
Yeah.
without trying like to force anything into it.
Now, before we go, we do want to share one more of the songs that you brought in. And I think it's fitting because your manager, who you've worked with for a long time, absolutely loves you all. It's basically like family at this point. And as family does, they pump you up. And he's referred to you both as the Led Zeppelin of the electronic scene. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I'm not buying it too much, but maybe he was talking about Led Zeppelin right now, and then it would make more sense.
Okay.
In the kind of like, yeah, let's play it and have a cup of tea and go to bed. Maybe that's what he was talking about.
On the flip side of NPR news headlines, we are going to get into one more song selected by Justice. And what song is that?
It's Dancing Days by Led Zeppelin. It's on Houses of the Holy, which is one of our favorite album covers ever. It's like the kids like climbing on a mountain, and you have all these beautiful colors. And it's great because like how can a British band that's doing like countryside rock music that mostly talks about Lord of the Rings sound so Californian to us? It's a perfect song to ride through the desert, and we also love, like, we usually don't pay too much attention to the lyrics of songs because we can barely speak English and understand like the lyrics. But this one is like they're amazing because it's more like impressionistic lyrics. They work by touches and just by saying like things that sound a bit like random words. They manage like to paint like a great atmosphere of like an evening in like spring or summer. And I don't know, I think he's talking about a tadpole in a jar at some point, which doesn't make any sort of sense, but it works.
All right, well, we have only a few seconds left until news headlines from NPR, but we will listen to that on the other side of things. Justice, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Navina.
Have an amazing part 2 of Coachella, and we will be listening on repeat to Hyperdrama on loop, as it were.
Take care. Cheers.
It is Morning Becomes Eclectic on 89.9 KCRW, that Led Zeppelin track is selected by Justice on the flip side of things.